Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today I'm going live once again. And I just dropped a video that was a breakup story that was sent in. My ex changed her identity, and someone, Rob, mentioned, who's on the live stream quite a bit. Maybe we'll talk about this. So my ex changed her identity. And when I'm talking about identity, I'm talking about your identity and your values, who you believe yourself to be, and this results in how you act. And a lot of times identity is changed during a job change, a career change, a school change, or a move. You move to a new city or you move to a new town. These things all contribute. I'd say probably number one, the most common is if you change jobs. But you can also change a group of friends, join a club or something like that, and you can change your identity. You see this with people with yoga. They become yogis. They become vegans. So a good example of this is if someone said, all right, I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to start going to these classes at this time. And all of a sudden, you have this friend. They're like, oh yeah, I've started this yoga class. And this individual has never really been into exercise. In fact, they really like junk food. They like fast food. They, overall, they're not into fitness at all. They start this new yoga studio. They make some new friends. Within a month, they're a vegan or a vegetarian. They're going to yoga 5 times a week. They're calling themselves yogis. They're going on yoga retreats. Their identity has changed. And the reason why their identity has changed is because they've taken up some new friends in a new environment, and it's resulted in a lot of fun. So this is what happens, and this affects relationships, and it affects that feeling of what happened to the girlfriend that I fell in love with? What happened to the partner that I was really into? Why did they change? So this is actually going to be 2 parts. What's your purpose in moving forward? I wrote this on the post. This is a topic we talked about before, but it's obviously something that comes up a lot. So if any of you guys have something you want to share on this live stream, what's your purpose in moving forward? If you have something new. And my 2 things that I actually suggested are the Robert Dilts model. This is a great model that you can maybe delve into. What's your purpose moving forward? What's your aim? It's not just goal oriented. It's a little deeper than that. And also something called Ikigai, which I suggest to a lot of people to do. It's a Japanese way of not necessarily finding your purpose overall. Well, actually, it would help out a lot with that. And you can Google this Ikigai. And you can basically take some time and answer some of the questions it asks, and it comes in this diagram form. And it will probably help you out a lot with finding something that you're really interested in moving forward that's outside of your ex. So, EG, what's up? How you doing, bud? I'm good. Dylan, good to see you. And Mr. Jeff Brazo, not to be confused with Bezos, right? The Amazon legend who's making all this money, crazy money. Any questions out there? I'm actually going to talk quickly about an email that I got, if you guys don't mind. So instead of making this a video, someone sent me this. Monica, how are you? That's great. I'm happy you're awake. This just came in. Hi, Mac. I have a friend who I fell in love with. We have been hanging out as friends for 5 times already, but regularly communicating through personal messages and texting. We have a couple of out-of-town hangouts. When I finally revealed that I love her, she just said that we were better off being friends. Well, you don't want to reveal that you love someone when you've been friends, because that's a little heavy too quick in my book. It's 0 to 100. And if you're not feeling that you're not really sure that she loves you or likes you in the same way, you're setting yourself up for a pretty big letdown. And it can be intimidating from going from friends to I'm in love with you. But I'm sure that we've seen it in movies where it really works out. She doesn't imagine me as her boyfriend or a partner. The other part to this I would add is the fact that you went all in, you took a shot. Going all in with the I love you, but you got clarity. She's not interested in you as a boyfriend at this point. So you need to back off, give it space and time, and really assess, can I be friends with an individual that I'm attracted to so much that I would be going out of my way to say I love you. After that, technically, we have not spoke or seen each other for 5 months now, but she called me 3 weeks ago just to say hi and know what I'm up to these days. What do you think I should do? I think you should be honest with yourself. I think that if you want to be friends with her, that's fine, but don't have any expectations with this moving in a different direction, getting romantic at this point. Her calling you up and saying hello 3 weeks later sounded very friendly, if you ask me. He writes, because I still love the girl. I want her, but she's not into me. Just because you want her and just because you love her and just because you have good intentions is not going to change the dynamic that she looks at you as a friend. And so my suggestion is stick with no contact and just let her know at this point you like her more than just a friend. And if she wants to visit that, she can call you up. But if you're going to fake being friends with the hopes of getting with her later on, I would not suggest that. Be honest and be honest with yourself. So that was just an email that got sent in. The exes I've dated before had completely changed their image. Okay, so this is something that's come up a lot. I think that people don't realize how often it does happen. And I think more than ever before in the 21st century, in 2019, people are changing their identities really quick with new pictures and new posts on Facebook and all the information that we're privy to on the internet. You're able to really dive into different clubs, different things, live streams like this, and it's going to change who you are. You know, if you look at people that don't change, they usually live in the same town, they will go to the same places, and the reason why they don't change is they don't move, right? So a lot of times people, when they're changing their identities, it can be a good thing for them, but it could be a bad thing for your relationship because they change who they were in the relationship and it throws you off. Mayo, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to have you on deck, my friend. I was about to watch that video, but you saved me the trouble. Okay. Well, thanks for being on deck, as always, here. I just wanted to make a live stream appearance today. I'm probably going to have to go in about 20 minutes, so it's not going to be one of those 2-hour things. Not probably. I am going to go in 20 minutes. Anyone have any pressing questions or questions about the Robert Dilts model or the Ikigai as far as moving forward with a purpose, or just some questions overall? Again, this identity, what I'd like to add to this, my ex changed your identity. When you break up, part of your identity was actually being with your ex. So you're losing a little bit of your identity and you're going to have to reshape and reform who you are as a single person, right? And that's what gets really difficult is you go into a breakup and all of a sudden you're single again, especially if you've been in a relationship for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I know when I came out of the 5-year, it was kind of like just haven't been single in a long time, right? Going up and approaching women or talking to them, it's like you're not nervous. It's just an awkward situation because for 5 years, for 6 years, for 4 years, you've always had someone, right? You've always been off limits. You need to rebuild yourself. That's a good way to put it. It depends on where you are and who you are and if you're unhappy with some things. But yeah, in a lot of ways, you need to rebuild a large part of yourself. So, yeah, we're back on deck here. This Robert Dilts model, I will go through it in another video in the future, and the Ikigai also, but there's a lot of diagrams on this, and I really think it's an interesting way because a lot of times this is going to come up a lot. A lot of our problems and our problems with depression or anxieties were upset, our obsession with ourselves, with where we're at, what we're not getting. And when we're obsessed with our ex, we're obsessed with one part of our life and we start ignoring everything else. And really what happens is you're not asking yourself good questions to try to move forward. You're stuck on questions that you don't like the answers to. So you keep asking yourself those same questions again and again, and then you don't get the answers you want. So you keep trying to reframe it, and then you try to reshape it, but really the reality. And that's one of the reasons why when I ask people in a breakup prior to live coaching, I'll say, hey, what happened just in 2 or 3 sentences, rather than you tell me the long story of it, because let's just get clear on that part. The story is important, but also you just knowing the basic problem without all the fluff is huge. We obsessed with the what ifs. Yeah, I've been there. I've obsessed over what ifs. I know what that's like. What happens if you change but other person stays stagnant? It seems like a recipe for a disaster for reconciliation. Good question, Monica. Thanks for that one. Well, I mean, if you changed and you liked the way the other person was, then it's just fine, right? If you changed because you didn't like certain aspects about yourself and your changes have been improvements, but the other person didn't really need to make changes, then that's fine. But if the other person didn't change and you guys are not congruent, is the word I like to use. So a lot of times values don't have to be the exact same, but for them to mesh, for them to come together, right? Certain values repel each other, right? It's like oil and water, and certain ones line up really well. And those are the ones where the relationships are good. And I'll take it a step further. If you look at people in long-term relationships, like 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, which are becoming dinosaurs in the relationship world, they usually have a lot of things that the values are the same. Their jobs are similar. I remember when I was in school, there would be each school I was at had a married couple that taught at the same school, were together for 20, 25 years. And if you look at it, they got the same schedule, the same job, the same salary, the same days off. Probably works out pretty well. Same values, same things to talk about when they came home. It probably really helped the relationship. Met my ex a few weeks back after 5 months of no contact, did some catching up, but it ended up with her crying on my shoulder saying she doesn't know anymore and that she is now closing the door. Wow. But Mayo, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys had got back together once before, crying on doesn't know anymore and that she is now closing the door. Now or no closing the door? Again, she took control of the situation right there by saying, I think it's what's really difficult. People ask me this a lot. They'll go, what's the percentage of people that actually get back together? And I'm like, I don't know. Cause sometimes people don't talk to me after, a live coaching session. They don't update me all the time, but I would say, she is not closing the door. Okay. Thanks for correcting that. Well, that leaves everything open for her. It sounds like she's still lonely and she has feelings for you and she cares about you, but whatever happened in your relationship hasn't been healed and hasn't been forgiven. But once a breakup happens, unless the problem's really clear, if the problem's still lingering or not going away, you're probably going to break up again. She's keeping you on a leash. Don't like that. Male's a strong individual. He knows what the hell's going on. It's your choice, Male. Dun dun. That's pretty strong. It's your choice. Male, let me ask you this, bud. Based on what you just told me, where are you at with this? Right. So I know where she's at. Where are you at with it? Do you want to get back with her? Do you want to get back with her on your terms, or the crying on your shoulder, was that kind of a deal breaker where you're like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this drama anymore. This is probably a relationship we're probably not going to be able to make it work out. Where are you as an individual? Because if you were in 5 months of no contact, she comes back into your life, drops a few tears on your shoulder, and then just to tell you doesn't know anymore and that she's not closing the door, it doesn't put you in a better position than you were with the no contact for 5 months. Actually, I would prefer just to be in no contact at that point than get back into a gray area where she's saying like, well, the door's still open for me. Well, that's nice that you left the door unlocked for yourself. 5 people on deck. Throw me some likes if you like the show. Throw me some questions if you have some questions. We got about 15 minutes. Prove her you don't need her by enjoying your life to the full. It sounds simple, but it actually is simple in moments, right? I think Mayo's been doing this because you've been coming on my show for a while and you've been in a pretty good place. Still riding high from that championship too, probably. Mr. Serby, I haven't seen you in a long time. Mr. Pasadena, right? What's up, man? I've been MIA, bro. Got engaged. Good for you. And Serby, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Mr. Rose Bowl himself. I always think of Pasadena as the Rose Bowl. You had yourself a younger woman, right? I think you're in your 40s, and you had the Dina. I didn't know they called it that. The Dina. I always think of the Rose Bowl, though. Pasadena. Looks like a beautiful place, man. Had a bunch of people on here yesterday for Serby from Southern California. Orange County, Goleta, which is outside of Santa Barbara. How long does it for a person to unblock you? Oh, hey, Serby, I'm from California. I'm from the Bay Area. Bay Area is the most expensive place, I think. You make more money there, though, right? You got more opportunities. But I'll tell you what, I lived in San Diego. I think Pasadena is similar. Fucking outstanding weather. I don't live there anymore, so don't feel bad for me. I don't know if it sucks. That's my hometown, man. I'm living my summer just fine right now. I still hurt sometimes. You are right. I'm not sure I'd like to go back to that unless there are some changes. I made progress. Keep showing up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Keep showing up is a simple statement, my friend. You're 5 months in no contact. That's a fucking minor achievement of manhood right there out of a tough breakup. So good for you, Mayo. And just the idea that I still hurt. There's your answer. I still hurt sometimes. You are right. I'm not sure I'd like to go back. The only reason you'd probably like to go back is because you think it's going to solve the hurting sometimes or the loneliness. But in reality, when you get back into that relationship, and you've mentioned bits and pieces to me before, it wasn't really good, or it wouldn't have ended the way it did. And the fact that she just doesn't know and she's in this area, well, I mean, you might as well just move forward and keep in no contact and give yourself the ability to maneuver and the ability to possibly move forward and meet someone that's more congruent with your values and where you're headed, man. Yeah, I wouldn't say it sucks because Bay Area is my hometown, right? I grew up there, and I don't have a lot of problems with it, but it did get very, very expensive very quick. San Diego's outstanding. Lived in PB and Mission Beach for, 4 years. Loved it. And if I moved back, I would probably move back there. How long does it take for a person to unblock you? But Serby, congratulations on getting engaged, dude. Usually people don't come on the live stream and talk about getting engaged, right? It's kind of interesting because someone just asked me yesterday, are you dating? Are you with someone? I said, I don't really discuss that because dealing with people in breakups, I don't want to talk about my personal life. And especially if something is going well, people in breakups, isn't that the worst thing? I was talking about this a couple of days ago. It is you're out of a breakup, you're going through it, and then someone's talking about how great their girlfriend is or how great a date was. So, I mean, when you're in the breakup and you're going through the shit, you don't want to hear like, oh, my girlfriend's so great. I heard someone doing this in a video recently, and they kept pivoting back to, my girlfriend's so great, my relationship's so great, and someone in a breakup's like, yeah, till it isn't. They don't really want to hear about that, because when you're in the middle of a breakup, you want to talk about your stuff, and you want someone to relate to your problems, and that's building rapport, and that's someone really on the same level. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's a little bit difficult when you come out of a breakup to hang out with people that are couples and that are lovey-dovey. You're kind of like, damn, I got to get out of here, right? You're welcome, Mayo. It's always a pleasure, bud. Keep showing up. That is a good hashtag, actually. It's so simple, right? Someone was asking me if I was going to make t-shirts for the channel, and she was saying, where's your power? She likes that statement. But I would say keep showing up. The simple statement. I think it was Woody Allen. Woody Allen said half of making it in show business, or half of making it at all, is just showing up and doing the work. When I say keep showing up from a breakup, I'm saying keep showing up in other parts of your life. My purpose on moving, Shaggy 1%. I'm in a pretty rough spot, Coach Mac. Well, shoot, I got about 10 minutes. So go ahead and drop me what's going on, Shaggy 1%. I'm not sure I've seen you on before, but go ahead and shoot. Got blocked for no reason at all, wasn't being needed, nor being a jerk. Well, if someone blocks you and you didn't do anything wrong, they got a problem with themselves. And why would you want to go out of your way to find out why? If someone ignores me or doesn't want to talk to me, it's like, okay, fine. No sweat off my balls. My purpose of moving forward is to find someone who loves me or who I am not sure will use me. I don't want to LDR again. I'd like to find someone I have more stuff in common with. Well, good for you, Dylan. It's going to happen. Take your time, do your thing, concentrate on doing the best you can. Really, what one of the things that's underrated, and I talk to people about, is, go out. We all want to consider, we all want to know how we're going to get something. We're all obsessed with that, right? And myself included. How do I get money? How do I get, if you're in school, how do you get your grades? How do you get your mortgage paid, right? But really, when you're in a place like that and you start getting obsessed, this is where you get really sad about things, because all you're trying to do is consume when you wanted to find ways to contribute. Find ways you can contribute to society, find ways you can help other people out. It's like when I do these live streams like this, right? Sometimes I'll take an hour or 2 hours. I really enjoy them. I enjoy helping people out. I enjoy interacting with people like this. And at this point, currently, I'm not charging anything for it. So I'm not getting anything like directly out of that. People have asked me before, oh, why not? Well, I enjoy helping people out, right? I enjoy the interaction. So it's been almost 6 months after the breakup, and I found out the other day that my ex has been going on dates with a guy. I got mad for no reason and called her out on it. Well, I think it's safe to say I lost this woman for good. All right, Shaggy, I can redirect the ship really quick for you. Number one, if you've been out of the relationship for 5 to 6 months, you know that she has complete access and a right to date other people. It was going to happen at some point. It's inevitable. And you finding out and going off about it says that you're not very clear on the fact that you are actually broken up. You still think you have some kind of mainstay with this woman, and she just told you, no, I'm seeing other people. So this is clarity for you. You don't own this individual. You don't have any rights towards knowing what they do at this point. And she's basically told you, yeah, I'm moving forward. And just because it hurt your feelings, which, you know what, I'm sorry to hear it for you, bud, but you get smacked in the mouth or smacked in the face like that. This is not one of those situations where you get back up and you go and you continue fighting with this individual, or you continue chasing them down. She just told you, I'm not interested, right? She just told you, I'm looking to date other people. And the way you handle this situation right now might have sewed things up for the future. But do you want to get back with someone that's starting to date other people? Ask yourself that, right? If it upsets you that much, aren't you done anyways? And the idea that you lost this woman is a dramatic narrative that you need to flip. You didn't lose her because you had already broken up, right? You had already been broken up. So at that point, right, you didn't lose each other. You broke up. You guys made a choice. Now, the idea that you lost this woman for good is highly dramatic. Whenever you tell your brain something's lost or something you're never going to get it back again, your brain starts getting really scared and upset. Instead, you could go, look, she's dating other people. It fucking sucks. It hurts. I'm going to stay off all social media, and I'm going to have no access to knowing who she's with, what she's doing. And I don't want to see any pictures because I'm moving forward, and that shit doesn't serve me. It makes me feel like shit. And at this point, I don't really have a right to check on her. It hurts. It doesn't feel fair. But you know what? I have the ability, I have the right to move forward and date other people also. And if I'm not ready right now, I'll be ready in the future. And for me to get ready in the future, I need to cut off all contact with this individual, because knowing this does nothing but make me feel worse and worse. You got that? Shaggy 1%. Let me know if that helped you right there. Shaggy, get on your purpose. What is your purpose outside this ex? What's your purpose outside of this relationship? What are you going to be able to work towards moving forward? What's up, Rob? Unfortunately, this is going to be a short live stream. It's not going to be like the other ones. Preach on. Thanks, EG. That certainly can't help your case. Let her date the other guy. It will likely fail with him. Yeah, I mean, you don't even want to get into a situation where you're letting anyone do anything. Right now, you're in different lanes, man. You don't want to know what she's doing. My friend is having a party this weekend and she's going to be there. I just don't know if I should go. If I do, how should I act around her after not ending on a good note? Okay, good question. I don't feel like there's any problem if you're really uncomfortable going to that party and seeing her in person, and you're going to be awkward, uncomfortable, anxious, pity seeking, or you're going to be questioning her about this new relationship. Don't go. That doesn't mean you're not being masculine. That just means you're avoiding a bad situation that could be made worse by being in each other's presence. At that point, make sure that you have something else to do so you're not just sitting at home stewing and ruminating. But if you're really uncomfortable, I would have no problem. If I was fresh out of a breakup and I was going through a really tough time where that individual started dating someone else and I had an altercation over the phone, I would probably not want to come across that person in person if I could do it. All right. You're not losing face with your friend. There's going to be another party in the future. You could find something else to do. But if it makes you really uncomfortable, because let's face it, if you're out of a breakup for 5 to 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is, and someone starts dating someone else first and they seem like they're doing really well and you aren't, it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel good to be around that person. So if I were you and you're feeling awkward, you're feeling anxious, you have some anxiety about it, don't go to this party. Have something else to do. And I don't feel like you're being weak. Right? Because if you put yourself in a position to be in her presence and you're going to be weak and needy, it's going to get really awkward really quick. And you've already said that you've gotten upset once and lost your cool. Don't do it again in person. Like your current vid. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it, bud. Act indifferent. Okay, on the flip side, yeah, Rob, Shaggy 1%. If you can go to that party and act indifferent, what I'd like you to do is be indifferent. Acting sometimes can be, human beings can tell when other human beings are acting. Again, it's not Hollywood, right? So if you're acting in a certain way, you have to go into that really feeling and believing, well, I'm indifferent. If she's with someone else right now, I'm fine. In fact, I'm actually going to bring someone else there, okay? Yeah, losing the cool in person is definitely the thing not to do. Yeah, if you feel like, and it sounds like you have some anxiety and you're really upset, it doesn't make me too uncomfortable to be around her at all. I just don't know if I should be an adult and be friendly and offer drinks or just ignore her and hang out with buddies. Well, that's the thing. Those are two polar opposite things. Stop trying and be yourself. So at this point, at this point, if you're going to go over there, this individual is dating other people, it's upset you, and you're going to go over and offer her drinks. That's awkward. That's needy and that's clingy. You've already told her pissed off that she's dating to the party and act like, everything's cool. Then you're going to put yourself in a weak and needy position. In my book, when most people be themselves, they be beta versions of themselves. Well, I don't know if that's true, Rob. I'm not sure I agree with that. There's certain people that can be themselves that are certainly very masculine. I'm saying if you're going into a position where Rob laid it on thick right there. 19 years old. Yeah, she's going to be seeing other people in the future. You know that, right? That's the thing about, so I'll just ignore her and be myself until she starts conversation. Right there. That's the problem. I got to go pretty soon, but that's the problem. Well, you're assuming that she's going to start a conversation with you. That's going to put you in a bad position because you're going to go in with a game plan that you have no control over. So you're like, oh yeah, I'll just be myself. I'll just ignore her and then she'll start conversation with me. How about this one? What if she doesn't? Then you're going to go nuts. You're going to be like, oh, it's been an hour and she's ignoring me too. To me, take control of the situation. Don't go there and put yourself in a bad position. If you're going to go into that and be indifferent, you got to go. You can't go to like, oh, I'm going to ignore her and then I'll wait for her to start conversation. No. You go over there, you go, the way to be indifferent The ideal place to be is if you see her, you make eye contact, you can say hi, you can be short and neutral and indifferent without seeming like you're trying to be an asshole or seeming like you're trying to be standoffish. So I'll just ignore. You need to read the 3% man, understand what creates attraction. If you don't know the rules, you simply can't win. Learn the methods of attraction, what repels, what attracts. You'll be in a better situation. Well, indifference works, being neutral, being on your purpose, having no expectations about seeing her, right? Like if you go into this whole situation, you're like, yeah, this will happen and then this will happen next. Then when it doesn't happen, you start to panic. He's right, though. At the end of the day, if someone's starting dating someone else and you've been apart for 5 or 6 months and you're getting butterflies about seeing her at a party, I don't know if it's a good place for you to go. Yeah, there's a lot of info on there, and you could become more alpha. Sure. I still got to do my Superior Man, the Way of the Superior Man book review. All right, any closing questions? I'm sorry. Usually I'm going 2 hours, 3 hours. I really enjoy these things, but today I got some stuff to do. So I got about, don't ignore her. You'll just be looking like you're trying too much to get her attention. Well, I mean, if you can ignore an individual and really ignore them, then fine. That's the best place to be. Whatever you want to call it, or red. But yeah, I mean, you can call it what you want, Rob. I'm with you, bud. I'm with you. Be a man. How about that? Why don't you just be a man? Rob, your boy at Masculine Energy talks about this stuff quite a bit. Cool. Always appreciate your live streams. Appreciate you, Rob. Anyone else have a quick question before I have to leave this one? I just want to become. I'm going to take a shot and go to the party, be indifferent, and just have drinks and enjoy life. Good luck. Let me know how it goes, Shaggy. One thing you can do. This might sound random as hell, but before the party, get a really good workout in or go for a run. Because if you have any anxiety or nervous feeling, doing some kind of activity beforehand will maybe bring you down a little bit, not make you so anxious. Better ignore than not to ignore, and be beta. Peace, Mr. Mayo. Yeah, masculine, there's some simple, solid info on these topics. Shaggy, take some video and show us. Reality better than living in a fantasy world. Absolutely. I hear that drinking before helps you too. Well, I don't know. Everyone acts different when they drink, so I don't know if that would work in your favor or not work in your favor. So I'm gonna let you decide that based on knowing yourself pretty well. But I would say that could be a bad thing if you're going into a situation with a little bit of anger, because it sounds like your first statement was that you weren't too happy. Thanks, Tazzy Devil. All right, take it easy. Thank you for contributing. Just don't drink irrational beta. Seen the blow up of many dudes. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Shaggy 1%. Mayo, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Monica, thanks for showing up. Serby, thanks for showing up. Congratulations on the engagement. I'll be back on deck again, guys. Talk to you later.